Welcome back to the Making It podcast, and today's another special day because I'm joined by Noah Wheen, a very good friend of mine. It's another Making It Moments episode. We're going to be talking about the sporting world, travel, and Noah's journey so far. So Noah, it's good to have you here, brother.
Thank you.
I'm used to having normal conversations with Noah, but this is in the podcast setting.
Yeah,
but
there's a bit more weight on this one, so hopefully it goes all right. But we'll see. The chats are usually good fun.
It's going to be funny because it's going to feel like I'm interviewing you a bit, but we're used to normal conversations.
Yeah.
But first of all, Noah, what brought you to Northumbria University?
I've sort of hopped around a few unis the past few years, and I was in the States and didn't really know what the next move was, and got a bit of family in the north of England and decided to reconnect with that side of things. So, and yeah, here it's brought me here. I met Dan in one of the first few lectures that we had at uni. Just the energy that you brought to the room, really lifted my soul, and then we kicked it off ever since. So no, it's been a challenging few years at uni. Everyone sort of has to adapt and a new country and all sorts, but Northumbria it's providing slowly and steadily. So no, it's good fun.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, man. I think it's funny because the more I've got to know you, bro, the more I've realised like how well travelled you are. And obviously you originally grew up in London, yeah? And then you went to Australia, and then you went to Texas, and then you went to Northumbria.
Just skipping out Singapore in there as well.
And Singapore, and you lived in France, and now living in Dublin. So you're very well travelled, brother. Now, I want to dive into it because we spoke about it on the last episode on the podcast, and I know you love your travel.
Yeah.
Now, throughout all that travel and moving location, how much do you feel like you've grown from that?
Yeah, obviously quite a lot. I think traveling, you get to experience, all walks of life through just vision and observing, and then just having a chat with whoever it is you bump into on the side of the street, or all those different connections that you make just from a chat over a coffee, or so much of my travel came with tennis. So either it's battling on a court and then coming off and chatting to your opponent, or everyone in the tennising world, and there's just people spotted all around the world, which is quite cool. So yeah, I'm very, very appreciative of travel and the connections that it brings, and just opening, broadening your horizons. And I think that's something that you're coming to appreciate more and more and more. I tell you how good it is, excuse the language, how good it is. And I can't emphasize it enough. It's something that I'll always do, and forever love it. So yeah.
So if you had to kind of say, because as your friend, I know you maybe right now you're figuring things out in life, and that's fine, bro. We're young.
Yeah.
But if you had to kind of say what you're trying to make it in, what would you kind of label it as?
I would say I'm trying to make it in finding that true purpose and like understanding of where it is actually I want to be. Like, I've got an idea, but it's still sort of weighing on me quite a lot, like where truly it lies within me. I know it's in the sporting world, and it's somewhere that you feel good and grounded, and whether that's out in the jungle or in the concrete jungle, wherever it is, wherever it's going to take me, that and so be it. I'm sort of, something I've always taken in to all my decisions is actually not overthinking it and not taking it too seriously, and just seeing where the wind takes me. And that's probably how I've ended up at Northumbria.
Do you think there's a balance to it? Because I know you love to kind of like not take things seriously, but obviously you take things seriously at the same time. Yeah. Do you think there is a balance to it? Do you think maybe sometimes you took things a bit too less seriously, maybe took things too seriously at times? Like, do you think it's about finding that balance, or are you kind of one or the other?
I think that's something I'm always trying to figure out, is finding that balance. Like, I look at you, and I really, really appreciate and admire how well you've got your trajectory set, and that's something that I'm still finding, and that's the part of the journey. That's part of making it, and yeah, I think I'm very good at not taking into account everything, that the decisions that are going to end up being quite a big part of my life, like ending up in Northumbria. I had no idea about this place and what it was going to hold, but that's quite exciting as well, and I kind of like that mystery and unknown to my decision making. But you got to grow up eventually, and it's starting to happen now for sure. So taking on those next steps is exciting, and also the unknown is the most exciting part for me. So yeah, do you reckon you have any sort of unknown things coming up? Like, I know we've got the next 2 years together at uni here. Possibly both going to be doing a sports psychology masters here at Northumbria. But yeah, do you have any idea of any steps you want to take without actually knowing where the next step is going to go?
I think I'm one of those people where I quite like to have things kind of planned out.
Yeah.
But I'm aware that you can't kind of live life with a plan and expect that plan to happen. So I think there's a lot of unknown. You know, I don't know where I'm going to end up working. I don't know. Obviously, the listeners know I want to get into sports psychology, but I don't know where that will be. Will it be at a club? Will I have my own business? Who will I be doing it with? Could it be in a different country? Like, that's the unknown. I think I've always had a good basis of what the thing is, but just not maybe knowing where it's going to be. But that's the excitement of it. And I think that unpredictability, you can either kind of, obviously there's fear behind it, but you can either embrace it and enjoy the journey. And then in those unpredictable moments tend to be some of the best moments, you know, those spontaneous moments.
Exactly. And every destination that you end up in, it's going to be so different. There are so many varying factors to the way it spins. And like, you might have an idea of working at a club in England is going to be completely different to say you get shipped off to Thailand to work under a football team that have completely different values and culture. So you have to work around, you know, what's there with you, in front of you, and just play the field. So yeah, I think that's something that is very cool.
In terms of playing the field, obviously you've spoke about your sporting world and your sporting background. Tell the listeners a bit about that. Obviously I know what your main sport is, but tell the listeners about your sporting journey so far.
Yeah. So I've played tennis my whole life. It's always been sort of the main light in my life. The main sort of thing that's taken all my decision making and yeah, taken over my life in a sense. It was awesome, an unbelievable sport, and I'm so thankful to have gotten into tennis. And I learned so much from it and all that.
What got you into it?
I just played everything as a kid, and Dad always loved tennis, and it just came pretty naturally to me, racket sports. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I played tennis. It took me from Australia out to the States, trying to give it a red hot crack, and it didn't end up being probably maybe what I had planned for. So I was always trying to do maybe a 4 years and see where it could take me after on the professional circuit. But you know, things happen and you learn from it, and it shaped me as a person for sure. So I'm very, very thankful for tennis, and it honestly is the best sport. If you don't play, because you can play it forever. So.
Didn't you say at one point to me, I don't know if it's fully true, but from what I remember you said at one point you were top 200 juniors in the world?
No, I don't know, man. Like I played a lot as a junior, and Australia is a great place to play. You know, we breed some great players. You know, the top 50 are packed at the moment with Australian players, and you know, watch out for them. There are some good guys coming up, and yeah, it's a crazy sport. It's crazy competitive. It's all on your own. There's nowhere to hide. Yeah, I've definitely had some demons on a tennis court, but we all do. So, yeah, no, I love tennis.
Yeah, speak to me about that, because individual sports are very interesting, and obviously sports psychology, me and you are both heavily interested in. The individual sports seem to be where people are impacted the most, and people maybe require that sports psychology more. I say every athlete requires sports psychology,
Absolutely,
but speak to me about being an individual athlete, you know, on that tennis pitch. What is it that, you know, they speak about those demons? Can you kind of unravel those demons for us? Like, what exactly are you thinking when you're on that pitch?
Yeah, well, there's so many uncontrollables on a tennis court. You know, there's your opponent, there's the weather, there's the balls, there's the court, there's all different types of things, and then there's what you can control. And when I was playing, especially as a junior, I never really truly understood it. I knew how important it was, but I turned a blind eye to it. Thought I could do it on my own. I thought, like, you know, yeah, I'm invincible. Like, you know, the mind over matter, without completely forgetting about the mind and just sort of going like blind into a match, just thinking about tactics and how, and then that sort of bit me in the bum a bit, you know, and then it all caught up. Results didn't start turning my way. I was based in California for a while, trying to get as much exposure to college coaches. So the collegiate tennis system in America is a really good pathway where players end up trying to go professionally after, because the level there is pretty much what you would expect to see on tour as well. So yeah, I could have really done with some help on the mental side of it. It just all caught up to me, and then it just unraveled on court, and it's crazy what confidence does. You know, you can't hide from it. Like it, once your confidence is there in any aspect, you know, it just, yeah, you feel a bit lost. And I just felt weird on court, like it just a bit foreign when it's been something I did my whole life. So yeah, I think that made me appreciate the importance of sports psychology and why I'm really keen to get into it. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that, brother. I think from my experience as well, doing athletics is another individual sport.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what sparked my interest in sports psychology. So individual sports they're very interesting on the psychological side of it. Obviously,
Absolutely.
golf as well. But speak to me about your next steps with tennis. Obviously, you've come out of that kind of, bro. You just tell me, because I know you kind of come out of playing a little bit, but you're also trying to get into it, but also the coaching. Like, tell us about your next steps with tennis in that sort of sporting world.
Yeah, it's so the next steps are sort of not knowing what the next steps are again. It's just seeing,
I feel like you love that, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like you love not knowing that.
yeah, it's seeing what happens. I haven't played a match in about 2 years or a year and a half, but I'm still playing quite a lot. You know, can't take me off a tennis court. It's just somewhere I feel at home, so I'm always going to be involved in the tennis world, no matter what facility it might be in, vicinity, sorry. So at the moment I'm doing quite a bit of tennis coaching, and then just have a good whack around with some friends around here, and just still challenging myself every time I step on court though. Like, it's not just going out there, going through the motions. Like, it's still giving myself a challenge for that session and seeing how I can better myself and improving slightly, even if it's in a different capacity to the whole sort of regimented college routine that I was in. It's a different physicality, but yeah, I'm just enjoying getting out there, and then also helping others on their tennis journey. Just doing a bit of coaching here and there where I can, and yeah, just having fun with it really. Trying to play some more matches, but you know, the competitive side of it is a fierce game, as you know, with your football and athletics. It's something that you can't go half-hearted in. You really got to dedicate a lot and give up a lot. So that's quite a big prospect for me at the moment. So I'm just sort of testing the waters, if you like. Yeah.
I think if you could give any advice to someone who's on a journey right now and they've got like a few ideas about what they want in life, and there's kind of like a few things they've been doing, they've been trying things and they've been enjoying certain things, but they're not fully aware of what that thing is they really want, maybe what their career might end up being, what their life sort of goal might be.
Yeah.
Obviously you talk about the unknown and you enjoying the unknown, but what would you say to someone who is struggling with the unknown right now and they don't know what to do because they kind of want to know what's going to happen but they don't?
I think the only equation to that is just fully immersing yourself within that atmosphere and environment. You know, becoming an expert in that field. It doesn't take long. Like, as long as you really push yourself to the limit. You know, like what's an example here? Like poetry. Like, if I wanted to get into poetry, in within 6 months I could know everything off the top of my head. That's a terrible example because I don't know much about poetry.
That's a funny one to
maybe
come up.
tomorrow I might get into poetry. But,
the new Shakespeare right here.
Yeah. But I think just immersing yourself in it, trying to learn as much as you can, read it, like ask people, you know, like there's no such thing as a silly question. So yeah, I don't know. How about you? How would you?
I think tying into what you said is like enjoying the process of it.
Yeah.
And I think with those sort of parts of your journey which are unpredictable, I completely agree. It's immersing yourself in the present moment, because you're never gonna know what's ahead in the future. Like, at the end of the day, you can have a good idea, but something could come the next day which is like throwing you off your path, and you come back onto it. But
absolutely, and I think tying off that, running for you and I has been something that we were both pretty foreign to when we met each other, and then it's something that we've connected over and it's kind of weird when it's out of my routine and in a daily aspect. It's nuts. When playing all other sports as a kid, running was the one that was all the way down here. Like, it was never got the day of light, and now it's just like part of my life. I love it. So it's funny that, like, and it's also like a mental shift as well. You know, like once you accept the unknown and the crazy nature to whatever it is you want to get into, and see the beauty in it, you can do anything really. So And I mean, our running career has only just started. You know, done one marathon together, and
Come
hopefully do a few more. Maybe some ultras coming. You never know. But yeah.
Yeah, I forget. I actually forget that me and you properly connected over running.
Yeah.
Like just doing a couple 5Ks or like a 5K every week, and then it build on. And then I remember being in that cafe, and I've spoke about it before on the pod about you being let's do a marathon, and I was a bit took back, like, bro, I don't know about that. And then we did it. But speak to us about Loch Ness. Obviously, I did it with you, but speak to us about that experience and how that grew you as a person.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, it was another thought that I would never really think I'd do a marathon, to be honest, at least a year or two ago. But the whole build up to the marathon was unreal. You know, doing that with yourself and individually, we were both sort of separated over summer and doing our own thing. Our training regime looked slightly different. I was giving it a go, but you know, a bit preoccupied with other things.
You was on the piss in Mallorca about a week before.
tennis coaching in Mallorca. Yeah. So, but the day of the marathon was truly amazing. You know, the feeling of getting over the line, but also just the whole 42-kilometer journey was so much fun. Just pushing yourself to the limit. I know. Because that limit at that moment in time, 42k was our limit, and I think that's the crazy thing, tying back into you know, putting yourself into a new environment and giving yourself the best opportunity to grow. Once you get going, you know, who knows what the next step is. So like, I know 42k is a long way, and I don't really plan on doing it anytime soon, but yeah, it was unreal. The views, the scenery, it was just the atmosphere, the bagpipes, the Loch Ness monster. It was all there on show. So yeah, it was really
special
fun.
for a
It
first
was really
one.
cool.
It was really special.
Cool.
I really enjoyed
And
that
then,
day.
yeah, the beers after tasted unreal. So
Mate,
it was
trust
great.
me.
Yeah.
But after that, I mean, it didn't take you too long to go on your next adventure. Obviously, you ended up going to Morocco for about a week, exploring the Sahara Desert. I know for you that was a very grounding, like, humbling experience. Like, tell us about that.
Yeah, and then a friend of mine is involved in a charity based in India called the Oscar Foundation, and he just told me on a whim, like, mate, we've got this cool opportunity if you want to come walk or hike in the Sahara Desert. It was quite a slow trot actually, in the Sahara Desert for 5 days, which was unbelievable. It was sort of, that's again the unknown. Just sign up, just say yes, do whatever comes your way, because you never know what's around the corner. And because of it, I met some amazing people. It was a group of us, about 20 of us, from all walks of life. And we just trotted on. Beautiful landscape, not much going on, so you can truly sit with everything that comes into your head. It was just its own form of like mindfulness and meditation, and I definitely felt grounded and renewed after coming back from that. It was unbelievable. So and then the food and the culture and again the beers after those 5 days were unreal. So do as many trips as you can, guys, because it's the things that you hold on to for sure.
But when you were sleeping, weren't you kind of just like sleeping in sleeping bags just on the desert? Like, talk to me about surely that's dangerous, bro. Like the hyenas and that are gonna come knocking, or
hyenas. I don't think you have to worry about hyenas. No, it was so warm that we were just sleeping under the stars.
But is there not any like dangerous animals or anything on the Sahara? Surely there is on the Sahara Desert.
Well, the thing is, we had a radius of camels around us.
Camels? Oh, mate.
So they were our bodyguards. So we felt very, very assured and safe going to bed with 10 camels just looking over us.
So really, set the scene for me, bro. So you went to bed, because I didn't know this, bro. You went to bed with 10 camels surrounding all of you.
Not quite, but we had camels joining us on the trip, and there were, probably about six camels, and they were just out the back where we were sleeping. So nothing's getting through those humps, mate. I tell you what.
Mate, I remember when you showed me that video. There's a video you showed me of like dancing with all these like random people, and obviously a couple of the lads you went with. And obviously there was no. Did you do any drinking at all on that trip?
No, not until after.
Yeah, full sober. So, like, that's something I've always kind of debated with, like sobriety or needing a drink to kind of socialize. But when I saw that video, to me, bro, like That video was special because all of you
Yeah,
guys were
it's
just
so
proper
wholesome,
jamming,
so wholesome.
no substances or like alcohol involved, and it's just pure sobriety, pure happiness, pure joy.
Yeah.
Like, speak to me about that, because obviously in life, like as a young lad, as both of us are, like there's gonna be times where you go out and you drink, and there's gonna be times where you maybe regret that, or
Yeah.
maybe do you ever question sobriety, or kind of do you think it's a balance, or how much of your life do you want to spend being sober, or do you think you'll ever become sober? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's something that everyone sort of weighs up at this age. I think, especially everyone's sort of a lot more health aware and things like that. So I think it's definitely weighed on my mind for sure. But I think it's all about a balance as well. But out there, like what you were describing, it was so wholesome. As long as you're around the right people, you don't need any substances to have a good time. You really don't. It's just feeding off each other's energy and the atmosphere, and it just lifts you up rather than needing something to lift you up to then make you crash even harder. At the end of the day, that's what it is. But if you're with the right people and you partner a drink or whatever it might be with those people, then it's only just going to lift your soul to the moon, So I think it's all about balance, and I'll always enjoy a cold one, a deservedly cold one, So what's your perspective on it? Is it something that riles you inside, or?
I think I did a month sober with my girlfriend Scarlett in January, like to February, and I realised I could go without drinking, and I felt really productive, and I felt like I was like, really involved, really present in life. But then there are it almost as well when there were times where I could have drank, maybe gone to a party or like just had a beer or something. It almost felt like I was like not forcing myself, but it felt quite rigid. Like my life also felt quite rigid as well. And I think I think the best thing, and I'll always say it, bro, like living off your intuition and just living off how you feel.
Yeah.
And that ties into you, like the unknown, and just embracing and kind of living off how you feel and taking each moment as it comes. But when it comes to sobriety for me, I think right now I wouldn't be prepared to go fully sober. Like yesterday, went to my granddad's, had a couple of beers. Like I love that. I wouldn't want to have not had a couple of beers. And I know I could have not had the beers, but I think one day maybe I'll be sober.
And it's a form of connection. It's like social connection and gathering is around alcohol in the Western world. Like it's a simple fact. You can try sway me the other way, but it really is, I think, especially in England and Australia as well. It's just sort of that central hub that everyone sort of, it's like a little mecca in the Western world. Everyone sort of is drawn to it and connects over it, which is cool, but can be detrimental in its own way as well.
There's a book which you read, and I know I've not read it, but you recommended it to me, The Courage to Be Disliked.
Yeah. What
are maybe one or two things you learned from that book, bro? What did you take away from that book?
Oh, wow, testing the memory here. At least it wasn't a poem, hey. So yeah, it was all about community and connection and finding those right people to be around. You don't need many. You don't need many to lift yourself and to really appreciate who you are as well. So that was the main takeaway I took from it, was the communal equals happiness. Like a good community equals happiness, as well as it was drawing off a lot of a concept on Alderian psychology, which revolves around really testing the memory here. It's really just going on a whim and not caring what people think about you, as the title states, and just going for it. Yeah, mate. Read it. I can't really remember.
Who's it by again?
It's by a couple Japanese dudes, philosophers. So, yeah, great book.
Yeah, but we
that's a poor answer.
It's alright, bro. Put you on the spot with a bit with that one. But me and Noah, I've spoke about it on the pod for the listeners. We I did a 6-week motivation program with Noah, and John. Now, it was nice because Noah, you were travelling quite a bit, or you were away, so you couldn't be involved in like the first few of them, but obviously you put your input into the slides and stuff. But is that your first experience of like a sports psych sort of environment?
Yeah.
Obviously with the last one we had to do it virtually, but you were in Dublin, I was in Newcastle, and John went down there. But speak to me about that program? Because obviously I know you were never physically there,
Yeah.
but like as a first experience of the sports psych world, is there anything you can take away from that, or something you learnt from that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was so nice seeing like the impact that we had. I mean, you guys were there a lot more and could see like firsthand the impact. But you know, on that Zoom call in the final meeting, you know, seeing all those kids' face light up and showing them our marathon video and it's just like you don't feel like a role model at the time, but to 14, 13-year-old kids who are on their own sporting journey, when you've done so much, when we've both done so much, it's they really appreciate it, and I wasn't really expecting that, so I found that pretty cool, very cool. You know, and it made me want to go for it even more. You know, you can help you can help people without realizing you're helping people at the end of the day. So I found that quite beautiful.
But I think it's a really big motivator, and we spoke about it when we were on that call, because they were asking us with the marathon, like, what did you do about nerves? What did you do when it was tough? And me and you kind of drew back to why we did it.
Yeah.
And if you think about what we raised money for,
and that stimulated thoughts like that we wouldn't even think about. Just those kids being naive and wanting to actually learn. You know, I think that was very cool.
Yeah.
Well.
But I remember when I was marathon training and running the marathon, like when it got tough, I would think to myself, like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Like Club Rafiki, you know, those kids, those girls out in Club Rafiki who were raising money for.
Yeah.
Obviously, that came through your sort of family. So speak to me about Club Rafiki, because I know you've been there before as well. Tell the listeners what Club Rafiki is and how it's connected to you.
Yeah, so Club Rafiki is a community youth centre out in Kigali in Rwanda, so Central Africa. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Everyone comes in after school or when they're sort of anyone off the street wanting to learn or take just to immerse themselves in a new activity. So we were specifically raising money for the girls' football team, but my family have been involved in that since early 2000s, when my granddad was working for the UN over in Rwanda when post-genocide, when the country was in ruins and they were building up from the ground again. So yeah, it's something that I hold very close to my heart, and I can't thank you enough for raising the money. And then raising the money for that amazing cause. It's quite funny the way we got into it. My granddad is the stiffest bloke you'll meet. He's got no movement, no sway at all, and he created the hip hop school in Rwanda. So when I went out there, I'd like to say I increased my dancing ability. So yeah, it's a beautiful spot where people are just so happy to be moving and around each other, and yeah, you have to come out, man.
Yeah, bro, I'll have to one day. I mean, when we got sent videos from the girls saying thank you for raising the money, and honestly, it was so special. It got me a little bit emotional, to be honest. But summer's coming up, man. Summer's coming up. What are your plans for this summer in terms of your journey, travels, tennis? What you got lined up? Yeah,
I'm very, very stoked. There's sun out the window here, and it's 20 degrees in Newcastle, so summer's actually here.
Very, very cool in here, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
nice.
It is nice. Yeah, I'm super keen. I've got a bit of tennis coaching lined up actually in Italy next week, which will be very cool. In Rome for the Rome Masters, doing a bit of coaching there.
What sort of age group's that with?
About 40 to 50-year-olds.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah, some guys from America who have come over.
What, are they competing?
No, they just love tennis. So we're gonna play in the morning and then go watch the pros really do it. And then a bit of tennis, more tennis coaching really. I'm just trying to get as much experience in the sporting world as possible. So just see what happens really. There's a few bits in the air, but look, in the air is a good thing. Unknown, we'll see what happens. But and then try get some traveling done.
You recently got qualified as a coach, in your tennis coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he told me that he was doing this course in Wigan, and he was staying in some small little scranny pub, and he was just in this little apartment.
Yeah, that is well and truly England, and I'm experiencing it to the fullest. So it was cool. Saturday night in Wigan, go check it out. It's cool.
it's a movie down there. It's a movie, but.
Yeah.
Coming towards the end of this pod, brother, it's been a great conversation. It's been great to have you on.
Yeah.
And you know I talk a lot about this, bro. and I'm sure you thought about it as well. But what's your why? What gets Noah ticking every day?
My why is to see Daniel Ferguson smile.
He wants to be a poet as well.
There it is. I'm done. No, my why has to be to help, to connect with people and to help them to get them on the best track possible. Whatever field that might be in, but for me, hopefully, it's sporting is my ambition, and that is mainly my purpose. So yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to get out there? Any messages you want to say before we wrap up the podcast, brother?
No, I mean just enjoy yourself, live in the unknown, and really say thank you to the ones around you that you love and appreciate, and that community feel is something that can't go understated. So, just look up and say thanks.
Nice one, brother. Well, thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks, man.
That's been Noah Wheen's Making It Moments. Thank you very much, brother. I really
Cheers,
enjoyed
man.
that, brother.
Was good.
Thank you, man. Give us another one. And again. Thank you, brother.
Man. Ciao.
Bye.